All right, and we are live. Hi, everybody. It is Amanda here, your kitty of Carnage.
And I am just KORESH, riding shotgun as usual.
Yes, guys, we are lucky to be hosting an hour of our channel, ChannelSundown, and due to unforeseen circumstances, unfortunately, my friends at Jerks Productions will not be able to join us. However, one of my good friends, the Horror Hack, has joined.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Yeah, just like awesome to be here. This is my first creepy channel crawl. Just really excited to be here. I'm a kind of a newcomer to YouTube. I have some pretty fun. So that review will be up soon. And yeah, just happy to be a guest on your show, guys.
Yes, and we're glad for you to be here because today, you guys know, our channel is ChannelSundown. The name came from where we're from. We live in Texarkana, Texas. Yes, you guys know Texarkana from the town, woohoo, the town that dreaded sundown, or the Boggy Creek. Wasn't a Boggy Creek. So yes, that is our channel. And today we are doing something pretty interesting. We were thinking of so many topics to discuss that we finally came down to, are you alone?
Mm-hmm. I think we're alone now.
Not the Rockwell song, but the most debatable horror topics. Yes. Are you alone in your thoughts, in your opinions? We shall see. You never know. So, yeah, that's going to be our debate. And everybody in the chat, do you agree? Do you disagree? You tell us what you think. You, people watching. I heard his opinion enough. I would like to hear more.
She's sick of my opinion. We don't agree on anything at all.
No, we don't. We just agree.
This will be fun.
We just agree on the title of the film. Like, that's where it goes. So, anyways.
Yeah, and let me just say, before... I was going to say, let me just say, before we started this broadcast, you know, we were talking, and Amanda was punching Jesse in the face pretty hard. So, you know, I'm a little nervous, and, you know, there might be some violence during this stream. I don't know. I'm glad I'm here in Los Angeles and not in Texarkana. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
I can always go to LA again. Like, I'll just fly over there.
I'm not allowed to talk about that, John.
Oh,
I'll blink twice if I need help, okay?
All right, I got it.
Too hard.
I'm like, no, we talked about this. So, anyways,
oh, that's right. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Our first topic is actually the most controversial, I think, that most people. So, but it's the easiest one. Everybody has a category they go in. So, I said the first subject is going to be athletic or vintage. What do we want to talk about? Running or walking zombies.
Yes. I think everyone has a pretty strong opinion on if they like fast or slow zombies. I have to say that my opinion changed over the years because, you know, back in the day, I was like all about the slow zombies, you know, George Romero and whatnot. But then when 28 Days Later, when that movie came out, that's what it's called, right? 28 Days Later. When that movie came out, I was like, oh, shit. Fast zombies, like that's like, whoa, that's a whole nother level there. Like zombies are way more terrifying when they're fast. That's my opinion. I'm sure Amanda has a completely different opinion, but I would be more scared of a zombie that could run a good, you know, good 5K.
However, I do kind of agree with the running zombie standpoint is in 28 Days Later, they are not zombies. That is my biggest freaking thing. They are not zombies in 28 Days Later. They are the infected.
The infected.
They're infected. They are not the rise of the dead. They're not. They're infected with the rage virus and what have you think go among, but they're not coming back from the dead. So I have a hit or miss in that category because I think it's like when they're running and they're doing backflips and stuff, I'm just like, oh, where? This energy, that's really intimidating. At the same point, there's nothing more scary than something, you know, coming slowly towards you and you really have no way of stopping it. So you're just like, oh, I have time before my brain gets.
They're infected, all right, Amanda. They're infected with speed and stamina. Those are the zombies you gotta look out for. John, what do you think?
Yeah, you had a good point about 28 Days Later. I mean, I love that film so much. Danny Boyle just kicks ass. It is more, you know, it's harder to get away from them when friggin' speeding after you. But there is something great about how the slow zombies, especially how if there's like a huge horde of them, you know, you think like, oh, I'm going to smack this guy in the face. You know, I'm going to hit this guy in the head with a, you know, friggin' shovel or, you know, decapitate him or something. But if there's like 100 of them and they're moving slow, they can still just surround you and, you know, eat your brains. So, I mean, I love the classic slow zombie. But yeah, if there's like 1 or 2 of them, who gives a shit? But you know, just I think I'll go for the vintage. I think I'll still go for the vintage slow zombie, George Romero, you know, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead stuff. So yeah.
You're just picking what you have better chances against, I think, is what it sounds like. So like if zombies attack,
yeah. But you know what was cool? I think wasn't it World War Z where they were like fast as hell too?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we won't talk about World War Z. What is that, a tough subject or what?
She doesn't like to talk about World War Z.
Whoa, I hit a nerve, people. I hit a nerve right there.
Right? Yeah. She's got a lot of nerves. Feel free to hit all of them.
I got a lot of nerves and a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
We'll say about that. Is anybody saying anything you like in the comments? Do you guys like?
What do you guys think about zombies? And also, you know, this is kind of in the same thing, debatable topic as far as zombies. Like, are we starting to get to a place where, like, are we over zombies almost? Because, you know, with like The Walking Dead, and it seems like for a while they just really, you know, everything was zombie this and zombie that. You know, is it time for something, werewolves? Is it time for something else to, like, you know, come up and take the place of the zombies, you know?
Well, the thing about The Walking Dead, the reason I appreciate The Walking Dead, because they focus more on the fear of the situation, the fear of the people. And basically, it's kind of like showing who's good and who's bad, and how like the villains of the film are actually the people in the circumstance of survival versus the actual zombies.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I read all the comics, but I didn't watch all the seasons of Walking Dead, so I can't really say anything.
Anywho, on the next category, I would love to see what people's opinions on. And here it goes. This is a loaded one, so I'm really curious on what people in the comments in the chat have to say. But horror superhero. Yes, we had the Brightburn. We had all these. Yeah, the Inhuman or
New Mutants.
New Mutants.
That's
yes,
a whole thing I
New
want to talk
Mutants.
about.
So I'm curious. Horror movie heroes, a horror superhero universe. Where would it hit and where would it miss? Like, what exactly are we excited about?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
First of all, I cannot wait for the New Mutants movie, but I kind of wonder if they missed out a little bit because they delayed that movie so much and pushed it back so far that, you know, Brightburn had a chance to come out before it did. Because technically, you know, New Mutants was supposed to come out before Brightburn. Yeah. And I'm excited about like a superhero horror genre, you know, because I love superheroes and I think it's a thing now. And I think it could go in a completely different direction. And even if anybody's out there, if you're familiar with comics, even Marvel, like years ago, did a Marvel Zombies thing, speaking of zombies. And that was a really cool concept for the comic. I think they even did a Ash and the versus the Evil Dead versus Marvel Zombies or something. But I think there's plenty of room for like a evil, you know, superhero genre. I think that's what they were trying to do with Unbreakable, and more so Split would be more of a horror movie than Glass, I think. But I think there's a lot of potential there. I think there's a lot of potential for a superhero horror.
I agree with that. What do you think, John?
This is going to be, might get some hate for this, but yeah, I'm just sorry. I've never been a superhero Marvel DC fan. I never really watched many of the movies. I'm not really into comics much. I do have some horror comics, of course, but But you did mention Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, and I freaking love those. Like I love those movies, and so that did open my mind definitely to like a horror superhero genre. So I mean, I'm very open to anything. I'm just gonna be honest. I was never like into superheroes, so it's kind of a new world for me. But yeah, I definitely welcome it.
Did you see Brightburn, John?
I didn't actually. I didn't see it.
Okay.
But I watched people's reviews of it on YouTube. And I'm like, I should probably see this film, definitely. Especially if I want to see everything horror as I can. That one just seemed interesting. So I mean, I'm definitely going to see it. But yeah.
Yeah, it had my attention from when they first started doing the trailers. I thought it was a different take on horror movies for sure. We did a review on it on our channel. I think I might have liked it more than she did, if I remember, but that's par for the course.
Well, and that's the thing about it is like I invite new subgenres. I really do. And I like the idea of a super like just off the Marvel horror universe. Well, we'll get on the Marvel horror universe. But I honestly feel like if it captures the unknown, because there's nothing scarier than the unknown. And they mostly grasp on the fact that, hey, you know, there's a different kind of people. We all fear it and we all don't understand it. And then you have, you know, people who fight against and people for it. I think the idea of itself would be fantastic if they kind of, you know, grasp that error other than being like, hey, he's a superhero and he has a scary face. Like, yeah.
He's a superhero with a scary face.
Yeah. Let's see. Dave Maggot in our chat says, "Does Super count as a horror superhero movie?" And I see the Horror Addicts said, you know, Super and Brightburn are in the same universe.
Yeah. They did connect that.
We were. He says a lot about that in the review because at the end of the film, he literally was like, "Seriously." Super, and I was like, I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'm glad somebody brought Super up because I did love Super. I just didn't know if I didn't know if I should bring it up because I think I brought it up before in like horror movies or something. Because I guess I mean, you know, whatever. It's who cares about genres, right? Like if you like a movie, you like a movie. Let's say it's a horror movie, whatever. But it was definitely a very original take on superhero movies, especially when it came out. And for a low budget independent film, I thought Super was incredible. That's one of the reasons I was kind of looking forward to Brightburn because of James Gunn's involvement.
Yeah, because before that, you know, he worked for Trauma and he has a lot of influence in a lot of different genres. And I feel, what's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I see Sandra says, would Sin City count?
What's up?
Would Sin City count? That's what Sandra said in the chat.
Since you know what, count whatever you want because that was a pretty dark. And that's the other thing. Another reason it gets kind of blurred is because there's so many things now that they're taking from graphic novels and comics and turning them into not just like TV shows but movies. You know, and you've got Preacher, Legion. I mean, there's just so many great kind of horror based TV shows that are based on comics and graphic novels. It's really a good time, man. If I was a kid right now, I'd be loving it because when I was a kid, there were like no superhero shows, no superhero movies, and now it's like everything, all the cartoons, all the TV shows. It's like I'd lose my mind right now.
Well, on that segue, I have our next point of conversation. Now, this is a really interesting part because I have a lot of friends who feel a certain way about this. PG-13, beneficial or bad for horror films?
You want to go?
Yeah, well,
I can take this first if you want.
Go for it, John.
Yeah. Well, okay. So when I see I have a couple different reactions. So when I see a PG-13 film, a horror film coming out, my first reaction is sometimes like, oh, shit, come on, man. Because like I want to see some like good gore. You know, some really good violence sometimes. You know, and even like sometimes some vulgar language is needed in the films and stuff. But I think it's like horror is a lot like comedy, where you don't need all that vulgar language and like hard R stuff to make it really good. I feel like it is a little bit more difficult with a PG-13 rating to make it really scary, but I think it can be done. I guess I tend to lean more towards the R-rated horror films, but I think there's a lot of great PG-13. So I really don't think it's a bad thing if you can make it. If you make the scares really good, just still have good plot points, story, and all that. I really don't think you need the, you know, excess gore and everything to make it really good. So I don't think PG-13 is really a bad thing.
I agree on that because I have a few ideas on this, because I think PG-13 is actually very beneficial to horror. And I'll tell you why, because the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life that I'm traumatized by is PG. And that, of course, guys, is Jaws. I can't watch Jaws.
Yeah.
I have a phobia of Jaws. I can't even and I have such a fear of Jaws. Jaws is rated PG. The reason why I think PG-13 is beneficial is because I am a huge horror fan, and I love, you know, the graphics and whatnot and whatever happens. But I feel like PG-13 kind of like grabs out to other people who are just like, hey, I don't want to watch it because it's too brutal and stuff. That being said, they focus more on the fear itself. So I feel like they grasp the whole idea of like Jaws, you know, of the whole not knowing what's going on and the fear of not knowing, because that's something scarier. Is your mind what your mind pictures is scarier. So I think that PG-13 is beneficial because it opens it up to more audiences. So, but then again, I don't want to, like, when I hear a zombie film is PG-13, I'm kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like a point you just said. I think it was Joe Mason says sometimes it's what you don't see that can scare the crap out of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw that. Exactly. Yeah, that's. I don't mind a PG.
Good one, Joe.
Yeah, that was a good comment. I don't mind a PG-13 horror movie. Like I said, sometimes I think they put too much gore in a movie to try to get an R rating. Yeah. And we live in a society now, especially with horror fans, like a lot of horror fans will say like, well, it's rated PG-13 and then automatically get turned off and not want to see the movie. I would still give it a chance. I mean, you know, I like R-rated movies. I'm a grown man. I can watch R-rated movies. I don't mind PG-13 movies, but what I do mind if someone has like it's an R-rated movie and they have to they want to try to edit it or something, cut stuff out to make it a PG-13 movie, and then I feel like you're kind of selling out your movie a little bit, you know. But that's whatever. Sell out.
I agree. Yeah, I do agree with that too, because like the thing is, like, I am not going to knock anything that's gory and violent per se or anything. But the thing about it is, like, it's kind of like now that we're at this like place where that's what people want. And people want to see it, and they're like, the movie's not good because, you know, you didn't see the person get beheaded. And it's kind of like, I feel like we're such visual now that where, you know, we see things, but then if you tell a creepypasta or say a story, people get freaked out because, like I said, it's in their mind. It's playing what's in their mind. So I really, really am kind of hoping that when they do PG-13, they focus on the story. So PG-13 is great for horror when they have a good movie. When they have a film that you're just like, oh, well, I didn't like that very much, because scariest movies of all time, Jaws, is PG. You don't see.
I think that's also before they had maybe an R rating. No, I don't know. I think back then in the 70s when movies rated R, it was like a porn movie, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like Deep Throat or whatever was rated R probably.
Debbie does.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Dallas,
does anybody, what is hard R? Hard R. What is Scary Stories? What is that going to be rated? Is that rated R?
No.
PG?
PG-13? It's like PG-13.
I think that's PG-13, right?
Yeah. See, and that looks scary. You know, yeah, don't knock scary. I thought it was going to be PG-13 since it was based on kids' books. You know, I think I was way younger than 13 when I read those books. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and that's a PG-13.
There you go. There you go.
I see Horror Addict said Temple of Doom made the PG-13 rating, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Because we're talking about the Indiana Jones, you know, where the guy goes in and rips the guy's heart out before he.
Yes.
Oh, Numshibai. Oh, Numshibai.
That was actually on my countdown of scariest movies and not horror films. That heart scene, like that messed me up.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, and they turn the freaking cage down. He's like facing the fires of hell below. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like getting lowered into that. That's pretty intense.
That just offended me as a young Christian woman and living in the South.
Oh, whatever. Bless your heart.
I try. So what's everybody saying in the comments before we go to our next point in arguments? Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say?
Yeah, they were just saying that that scary movie, Scary Stories is going to be based PG-13. Which, I mean, like I said, it looks terrifying.
Oh, gosh, yes. Well, this is going to be something that I'm curious to hear what John has to say about this. All right. So nowadays, when I go see a film, when I say nowadays, I say that very loosely, but I tend to be seeing movies a lot lately that back in the day when it happened, you're kind of like, oh, okay. Now, what my question is, twist endings, tired or typical? Like, when is it deserved? Is it overplayed? Because honestly, guys, and nowadays, every time I see a film, it's like they are looking for a twist.
You expect a twist ending now when you see a movie. You expect it. And you know what else you expect in movies? And I'm sick of after credit scenes.
Yes.
I know. I'm tired of having to like, okay, do I have to sit through the credits? Is there something else coming up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when the credits start, the movie should be over. That's how it works.
Well, the thing about it is like twist endings, you know, you can either have, you know, Fight Club or The Village. You know? So it's like, I feel like, you know.
I like The Village. I get a lot of shit. I like The Village. I get a lot of crap for that, man, but I like The Village.
Hey. Yeah, something about The Village. You don't think a fucking plane would go overhead every now and then? People are like, what is that?
What is that?
Where am I? Like this? Hey, this isn't 18 something or whatever. There's a freaking machine in the sky.
Yeah,
that is so true. So yeah, like twist endings, I feel like have like this over like I said, it's kind of required. It seems like nowadays, and just I don't know. When you deserve it, you deserve it. When you don't, you don't. Because there's a few films, I'm not going to spoil any, but there's a few where people like requested or like thought and assumed there was going to be a twist ending and there wasn't. And they were very disappointed. And I'm like, it's the story. The story was good enough. I mean, mind you, the end of Split, I was like really excited because I was like, oh, that's an awesome, you know, intro ending. But at the same point, I'm like, he was going to have a twist.
Right.
Like in Shyamalan, it's a twist.
Yeah. Like with M. Night Shyamalan, I think that's different because you expect a twist from his movies. But what kind of annoys me now is when I go to the movies, and I've said this to you before when we've watched movies, I'm like, there's going to be a twist ending. There's going to be a twist ending. And I hate being able to predict that there's going to be some kind of twist ending. If I can predict that there's going to be a twist, if anybody can predict that there's going to be a twist ending, that defeats the whole purpose. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, you know, M. Night Shyamalan, you expect a twist, but if you're watching someone else's movie and you're like, oh God, there's going to be a twist ending, and you're like rolling your eyes or whatever.
Well, and that's a funny thing too, because it's like you watch a film and then the twist is that there is no twist.
Yeah.
Like, there is no twist.
They said,
I like to, I was just going to say, I like to not really turn my brain off before I go into a film. I mean, it's completely on, but I don't try to say like, oh, here comes a twist. There's going to be a twist with this film. I really try to go in and be surprised and not predict anything and just go in. That's why I try not to read a lot of stuff before I go into any movies, because I don't want to be swayed one way or the other, what other people say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said about M. Night Shyamalan, like I think everyone when The Sixth Sense came out, you know, I was just like, holy shit, like that twist was awesome. And then he kind of, I mean, this is just my opinion. A lot of, you know, he kind of had some movies after that that were just okay. Can we agree? I mean,
because Amanda will jump out of her seat. Don't talk about The Happening.
That's my favorite bad movie.
Yeah, he's had some winners and he's had some not winners. We'll just say that. There you are.
Oh, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it cut. It cut.
Oh,
out.
you're
Sorry.
good. You're good. You're good. You're still here. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your point on that? Is he still there?
Someone in the Dave in the comments said that that The Mist was the best twist ending ever. And
well, I don't think so much it was a twist. It was just a good ending.
Yeah, I think. Well, I would consider that a twist. I don't know.
Well, I guess it was. It was. You're right. A little bit of a twist because you don't expect to see the truck.
Yeah, we have different opinions about that movie anyway. All right, what's next? Right. What do you got next, Amanda?
All right, are you with us, John? All right, good deal. So
you can't run away.
Yep, I'm here.
You can't run away. You can't run far. Anyways, everybody in the comments are probably, everybody in the chat are probably like, we love The Happening. Like, what? No, like The Mist. Like, I don't hate The Mist. I just didn't love it. So
I love The Mist. That's a whole nother show, though.
There you go. So the next topic I'm curious to hear is horror films. Can they really go too far? Yes. I feel like I feel alone in my idea, but there's a lot of people who I know who are like, I like this film, but I feel like it went too far. I feel like horror can never go too far because, I mean, they can have things in the story that are, you know, not pleasant, I guess, but I feel like horror is broad, like it's such a big idea, and what people fear is going to be different on different levels. So what one person can feel is too far, others can feel like, well, this is too far. Like, for example, I have a problem saying if anything happens to kids or animals.
Yeah.
But I can watch like graphic horror scenes. So it differs from different people. So I don't feel like horror can go too far.
Yeah, someone just said killing animals is going too far.
Yeah, yes, killing, exactly.
And I realize that going too far is very subjective because what may be too far to you may not be too far to others. But I think there are certain films out there that are like Serbian film.
Oh,
God. As far as you're concerned, you thought Mother went
I don't think that Mother went too far. It's just hard for me to watch.
Yeah. I think some movies are doing that. Like, you know, I don't mind a movie going too far, but if you're going too far just for that reaction, you know what I mean? If you're doing something, anytime you're doing something just for a reaction, it doesn't fit the plot, maybe, then I have a problem with it.
Because the fear is the unknown. So, I mean, it is what it is. What do you think, John?
Right. Like I said, I mean, I said this before, I kind of view horror and comedy very similar. Like, you know, some people might think a comedian went too far if he says something that they don't like, you know, but other people are laughing at it. So I don't really believe in censorship much, but I think there is a line somewhere because, for example, like in Alexander Aja's 2006, The Hills Have Eyes. I freaking love that film. I thought it has great tension. Everyone's vulnerable out there in the hills, and you got these freaking hillbillies picking them off one by one. I think it's such a great film. But there's a really hard kind of to watch rape scene in there that it's like, whoa. What, did you really need to have that in there?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's kind of hard. That's a pretty tough subject to put in a film, to have someone raped. So
Right.
yeah, like rape, killing children, killing animals. I think that can kind of go a little bit too far. So yeah, I guess there is like a line, and like, you know, there's always a line. It might be really far, but and it, you know, for some people, like you said, Jesse, it kind of depends on the person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there is a line. Yeah, for sure.
And not to go off here, but
Yeah.
I used to do comedy, so Amanda knows this or whatever. So I feel like in comedy that there's really been a line drawn more, that there's stuff that you can't joke about.
Yeah.
And that horror has kind of been has kind of gotten away with a lot more. You know, as far as like there's really nothing in horror that you can't show right now. You know, it hasn't got to that point where people are like, you know, like rape, for instance, like, oh, you can't have rapes in horror movies, you know. But like, you know, there's a kind of a thing in comedy where like, oh, you can't joke about, you know. So I feel like a lot of lines have been drawn in comedy, and horror has kind of like gotten away with some things that, you know, people don't really have a problem with. And maybe that's just because they're so used to the genre being outrageous for so long.
Yeah, you're right. Because the thing about that is, when you think about it, is you have to, a lot of, like, for example, horror comedies. It's the same thing with horror as it is comedies, because a lot of comedians, you know, what they say isn't really right, and it's like you don't agree with it, but it's funny, you know. And it's just like horror. I mean, of course, we watch horror films where like we don't want to see a person, we don't want a person be decapitated, but when they get decapitated, we're like, oh wow, okay. Yay, you know. So it's kind of like in both standpoints, you know. You just have to find a good like medium, I have to say. So
Yeah.
She made a good point. She says, I just don't like when rape is used for comedic effect. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. And that's I know Rob Zombie
that should definitely not should be the context of it.
Yeah, no, it should never be. Yeah, never be funny. There's nothing funny about it. But that's I know Rob Zombie kind of gets a lot of flack. As he's one of the directors I can think of. A lot of people think he uses a lot of, you know, sex and violence.
And he just makes bad movies.
Oh, that's a whole nother debatable topic we get on. Amanda says Rob Zombie makes bad movies.
Lords of Salem was interesting, and I was really into that, and I thought it was great. But then it came out with 31, and that's when I kind of lost like the band on that. So yes, so
I just want to say, people were saying that comedy is a lot harder to do today, and I tell her all the time. I stopped doing comedy like 5 years ago or something, but I did it for 10 years, and I tell her all the time, like, I would not know how to do comedy now. I couldn't do any of my old jokes. Like, not that they were that offensive or anything, but it's just like, if I were trying to start doing comedy now, I would have no idea what to do. It's hard. I mean, I feel bad for comedians now almost.
Yeah, because everybody's kind of like, you're either like not funny enough or too controversial. You're on two mediums.
Well, yeah, you can't comedy today. And I used to work in with comedians, a lot of comedians, and there's no way that they could. It's tough for them to say what they want today. Especially, I mean, just go on Twitter. You say anything offensive towards any sort of group, even if like they think it's funny, you get chastised for it. You just can't. It's a new world. It's tough.
The whole James Gunn thing, you know, that's a perfect example.
Well, that's why horror and comedy go hand in hand.
Yep, you're right.
I do, and I love horror. I love horror comedies. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Shaun of the Dead. Those are some of my those are some of my favorite movies, hands down.
Yep.
My favorite horror comedy is actually Roman Polanski's The Fearless Vampire Killers. That's my favorite horror comedy. I love that movie. That's my favorite movie, guys. So if you haven't seen it, see it. It's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I have a point that I would love to hear everybody. Is anybody in the comments have any in particular they want to talk about, hear our debates about? Because I have something I would like to hear. Jesse.
Oh, Lord.
And John. I have two guys here to answer this question, all right? Reboots and remakes have been talked about a lot during this stream lately. So, reboots and remakes, do they help or harm horror? Do you think they need to stop? Or do you think there's a bunch more that you think should be remade or rebooted? You
Want me
gotta
to
go
take
first.
this?
Yeah, you should first.
You know, okay. I don't know how people feel about it, but I'm not a big fan of reboots and remakes unless you're doing something completely original. You know, I don't think you should just make sequels and keep doing reboots just for the sake of it. And I think a lot of people are kind of tired of remakes and reboots. And I mean, even though, people are going to see Pet Cemetery and It and, all this kind of stuff is going to be huge. But people are really also, if you'll notice, people are really latching on to any kind of original movie that comes out. I think that's why Jordan Peele's movies did so well. I think that's why I can't think of the guys, the Hereditary and Midsummer director. I think that's why those movies did so well. I think that's why The Witch did so well. I think I already said Brightburn, but I think people are kind of, remakes, and they have their place. But we're living in a society now where everything is getting, like, I was telling her the other day, like, you turn on TV now and you're watching like MacGyver and Magnum PI and Hawaii Five-0, and it's just like, dude, come on. Like, it's gotten way out of hand. And I think most people are kind of realizing that remakes and reboots are getting out of hand. And that's why people are really, really, especially me, like, just if you see something original and new and innovative, like, people are really just latching onto it and being like, yes, give us this, give us more of this.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad movies like Midsummer and stuff like that are doing well.
Yeah, I'm glad too. And the thing about remakes and reboots is I think it's really beneficial. That being said, it's beneficial. Other than a remake, I want a retelling.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you want to look at Gus Van Sant's freaking Psycho, don't. I liked Psycho too. I like when they kind of fix things. But if you do the Psycho remake, it was not. But then you look at The Thing, and you look at all these other Scarface was a remake. Like, you look at these remakes because they're retellings of something new. The Child's Play, the new Child's Play, that was a retelling of something. They took the story, they took the influence of that, and they retold a different story. So this modernized, like, I would like to see like films from the 80s, not retold, but like not remade, like bring the exact movie and remake it, like I said, Psycho, but to retell it and bring up a new thing, like, you get like Black Roses and make it a boy band. Because in the 80s, metal was great, and like now it's like boy bands, like Black Roses, like with boy bands. So
with J-pop, it would have to be J-pop. Somebody, hold on, what was that? The Fly remake. Yeah, see, there are certain remakes. I think we were talking about that earlier in another channel that we were on, how like a lot of the 80s remakes, like The Thing, The Fly, like those are remakes, and those are some of my favorite movies. But there's just something that feels different about remakes now. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe in the 80s it was more exciting, and people weren't as tired of it yet, But I mean, people have been doing remakes since the beginning of time. I mean, how many King Kong movies have there been? How many Godzilla movies have there been? That's just part of the culture. So there's always going to be reboots and remakes.
Yes, you're right on that. And so it's kind of like one of those things that, like, we're present now. So a lot of things, I feel like if they have not so much a modernized version, but kind of like a kind of, like the remake of Chucky, the reboot of Chucky, what have you, was great because kids now are very digital. They're very in, to social media. They're into, smartphones and what have you. So that's where they fit Chucky into that, and they kind of modernized the story but kept the same kind of feel as the original. So what do you think, John?
Yeah, man, this is like a tough one because, okay, so remakes, when it's just for big budget box office to, feed the studios and make money, I mean, of course, that's kind of the initial thought into doing these, make some money. But I feel like it's like you get these remakes that are really great. It's kind of like finding a needle in the haystack. Like, maybe this isn't really a remake, but more a reimagining, a reboots. Was the 2018 Halloween? It's kind of like 40 years later, a sequel to the actual original Halloween, but it's kind of like the sequel to it, but 40 years later. I went to a panel at Monsterpalooza and with James Jude Courtney, who played Michael Myers in the 2018 film. He was on the panel and he told this awesome story about when they crafted the new 2018 Michael Myers mask and they had it ready for him to try on the first time. They were in a house together just before, there's like pre-production, everything. They had it in this case and there were only about 4 or 5 and went in a room. He put on the Michael Myers mask and he said that everyone, it was just the most intense, eerie, like even like joyful feeling that everyone had like, holy shit, this is so cool. And like when he was telling the story, like I got goosebumps because you can just imagine like this is a new life, a new, like to play Michael Myers and do it well. I mean, that's a tough thing for anyone to do. But I just liked how, you know, he's kind of bringing it new, like a new life, new imagining to it. And I actually really like the 2018 Halloween. And I think it's crazy if those rumors are true that they're going to shoot back-to-back Halloween movies for 2020 and release them in the same month. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, there's a rumor that David Gordon Green is coming back to direct.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to shoot 2 Halloween movies back-to-back for 2020 and release them pretty close to one another. But so like I said, sorry, back to the remakes. If it's done well, I really love them. I don't think it hurts too much, but you're right. When it's just they're doing it to feed the box office and let's make some money, it's cash, let's not put a lot of heart and soul into it, then yeah, it just gets old.
Yes, I agree with that too. So we feel you on that one because like I said, you know, remakes and reboots are great, but it feels like it's kind of like I want to keep the essence of the original, like keep the feel of the original, but tell it differently. So, but we'll see where the money is.
And sometimes I am pleasantly surprised because, you know, I didn't want to see the new Child's Play movie.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't want to see it. She wanted to do a review on it, so we went and saw it, and I was.
You liked it more than I did.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because I like the way they updated it to like modern technology, and it felt more like a Black Mirror episode kind of to me.
Yeah,
yeah, you know how that they kind of updated it with that modern thing, and you know, it wasn't just a rehashing of all those Child's Play movies, and I was like, okay.
He went and saw it because I told him Aubrey Plaza was in it.
It's true.
And he was like, okay, I'll go see it, and I was like, let's do a review. Let's go see it. He's like, no, it's Aubrey Plaza. He goes, I'm down.
I like Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, and
He does.
a lot of people thought Aubrey Plaza couldn't be good as the mom because the mom in the original is so like June Cleaver, kind of homey, very loving to her kid, and she's the more young modern day mom. But I thought she did pretty well, and her background is, you know.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
saying her background kind of in comedy, people were kind of worried about that too because she's got that deadpan, really comedic thing going on for her. But I thought she did pretty well in this movie.
Yeah. Have you seen Ingrid Goes West?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
That's such a good movie. She killed it.
I love it.
No pun.
She's so good.
Yeah, she killed it. No pun intended.
Little Hours, Ingrid Goes West. Yeah, I love Aubrey Plaza.
Well, this actually segues into a really good point that I'm curious what y'all have to say. All right. This was something that was really popular in the horror community. And it's really popular in films. Now, found footage. Is it still something or are you over it? You want to go first, Jesse?
I don't know if I'm fair. I don't know if I really enjoy any found footage movies. I mean, I kind of liked Troll Hunter a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking there was something else, but I can't think of anything else I've really enjoyed. The first Blair Witch Project, sure, when it was like before the newness wore off of it, you know, when everybody thought it was real, like, oh God, it's a real story about a witch in the woods. And but yeah, I never fell for that for a second. But like I don't know. I've never been you might have a different thing. I mean, somebody could do a found footage movie that would like impress me. That wouldn't be hard. But so far, I don't think I've ever really been impressed by a found footage movie. I'm sure somebody will comment on one, and I'll be like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
What do you guys below think? Do you guys think that found footage is done, or do you think there's still some potential? John, what do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to answer. It was cutting out and stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. But here, yeah, I can answer that. So yeah, I for one have a guilty pleasure for or actually, footage films. I actually liked. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, am I good?
Yeah, we can hear you. What was that again?
Oh, I'm gonna say I like found footage films. I really enjoyed Blair Witch. I like the first VHS, and they had some more like VHS found footage films after that. There's something, I don't know. I can't really explain why I like them. It's just like, someone finds a tape and there's some stuff on it that they're not supposed to be seeing, and it's kind of creepy to me. And maybe this isn't a found footage film, but did you see Unfriended, where the whole movie is taking place on the computer?
Yes.
I really love that film. I love it. Like, it's just all on the computer, but they still made it pretty freaky.
Yeah, that was another good, but also I feel like now that's being done to death too. There's a lot of other movies that are like that kind of did that too, where it's like, okay, I get it now. It's
I was actually kind of hopeful. Did you see Cam when it was on like Netflix about the Cam girl?
She hates Cam.
I hate Cam. I hate that movie.
If anyone has seen, if anyone's seen our show before, Samantha Robinson was in Cam. Samantha Robinson is in The Love Witch, and Samantha Robinson is my girlfriend / fiance, and so I won't have her say anything bad about Cam, even though it was not a perfect movie, but she's going to anyway.
Well, what did you say, John? Like, what did you appreciate about Cam?
Well, I was just gonna say, the ending. I was just like, what? Huh? Like I guess I didn't really get the ending much, and so, but leading up to it, I was hooked in. I was in it. I actually liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was that was my grace, because I was watching it and I had a lot of like, it was like, oh, this is interesting. And the ending just they just wiped all that off. I was like, wow.
Oh, Sandra in the chat made a good point. She said, Sandra says that Cloverfield was badass. Actually, I agree with her. I love Cloverfield.
Cloverfield's a good movie. Yeah, Cloverfield's a good found footage.
Yes,
movie.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't think about Cloverfield.
I like Count Jacula is on here, and he said that he loves Cam. So now, I want to do a video now.
Cam loves everything that I hate.
I want to do a video where
Jacula loves everything I hate.
Yeah, Jacula and Amanda debate Cam.
Oh. Count Jacula, hey guy, what's up? He like, there's a lot of films that he loves that I hate. So there goes. Yeah,
that would be a good debate.
Oh man, it's
you and Jacula discussing Cam.
Yeah, because I'll jump on that soapbox in a minute. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts.
I didn't understand the ending, but I thought, I don't know if the ending was supposed to make sense, but visually it looked really cool. And Samantha Robinson was in it. Did I mention that?
Yeah, I know. He really likes Samantha Robinson. Well, I'm curious also, guys. This is kind of a little point that is really kind of, it's different for different people, but jump the shark. Yes. What are your most WTF jump the shark moments in horror? That you were into a film, you were into a franchise, and then something happened, you were just like, ah, shit.
You go first.
Right? Okay, I will go first, because my what the F freaking jump the shark moment is when they killed freaking Lori in Resurrection. Not only did they kill her, how they killed her was not cool. Not cool at all. And that kind of wore me off on the Halloweens. But yeah, I was not happy with how it happened. And I wasn't even happy with Resurrection. But that was kind of like a jump the shark moment. I was just like, oh, like, it was kind of like, hey, you like subs? Let's go have Chinese. I'm like, no, I thought we were getting a sub. But we weren't getting a sub. And all my analogies consist of food. So
there's two things I should have mentioned. And you know what? You're actually doing really good. I was going to say, I was gonna say, anytime that we've got an ongoing thing, that anytime that she says that being said, you have to take a drink, because I know that I know you got a beer there with you, and she has not said it one time.
Yeah, I got me a fancy beer here.
I know, and this is like the first time ever that she has not said that being said like 15 times. I'm so proud of you. Actually, I was gonna say disappointed, but anytime she brings up food, you also have to take a drink. So if she brings up food, or if she says that being said, you have to take a drink. And if you want to play at home, you can. Even though we've only got like 10 minutes left.
I want to see in the comments, does anybody have a jump the shark moments that maybe I didn't think about?
I have one, but I don't think it's going to be that.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. Maybe you. When I think jump the shark, I'm thinking Glass.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh.
I'm thinking Glass.
Oh, dude,
I know a lot of people.
Dang it. You took mine, man. That was mine.
Oh,
I
really?
just thought of that too. Yeah.
I kind of feel like I got a lot of. I have very, very high expectations for Glass, and usually when I have high expectations, I'm let down, and that was the case with Glass. A lot of people love that movie, but I also think it's one of those movies that everybody's like, yeah, because they want to be gung ho about Glass, but when they look back on it in a couple of years, they're gonna be like, Glass really wasn't that good. Especially, I mean, if you think about it, compared to Unbreakable and Split, I think I personally, I wasn't happy with the way that Glass turned out.
Yeah. What do you have to say, John?
Yeah, with Glass, I mean, I was just kind of sad. Like, it took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I was like, oh, shit.
But he's good.
Like, come on, man.
Like, really? Like, you owe more to David than like we owed more to him than that, whatever.
Yeah, but again, I mean, were you glued in until some shit happened towards the end? I mean, I actually liked the way it was shot and the characters and how they were in the ward together. I actually really liked the film.
Yeah. Oh yeah. M. Night Shyamalan, his cinematography is always really great. Yeah. Glass was a really good looking movie, but I feel like I don't know. I just think he could have worked on the story a lot more, especially coming off of.
I'm sorry. This is a really funny comment. Zachary in the chat says, anything A24, I quit you.
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, A24. Those films, it's definitely not for everyone. Definitely not for everybody, those films.
Yeah. They have been I feel like they're very creative though. I feel like they're not making your just putting out your typical movies. They're one of the companies that's actually trying to do something different, kind of like is it Spectravision, Elijah Wood's company? Anytime I hear they've got a movie coming out, I'll give it a chance either way with both of those.
Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, and I forgot another jump the shark moment is when Rob Zombie put his wife on a horse in Halloween, and he has the visions of Michael Myers.
I'm surprised that Rob Zombie didn't cast his wife as Michael Myers, to be honest.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, it's coming to the end. My clock is, I think this is 8:53. So yeah, guys, that was great conversations. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm thankful yet again with my friend John, the Horror Hack. Mr. the Horror Hack, how about you tell us about your channel real quick? More.
Tell us what you got coming up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My channel, again, I do. Oh, sorry, it was cutting out there. So I do movie reviews. I'm going to do some fun one-off series that I have coming up pretty soon. You can find my channel. I hope you subscribe. I'm kind of newer to this. I started in June, so if you want to hit that subscribe button, I think my link.
Yeah, we've got the link in the description.
In the description, all of you guys, I'll watch. So, movie reviews, one-off series. I try to add a little lighthearted comedy in my videos. So, I hope y'all enjoy it. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Hack. Hit me up anytime. I hope to talk with you.
Good deal, guys. And we are Channel Sundown. We make videos of us arguing. Yes. We do horror movie reviews. We do horror countdowns. We do live streams. And Mr. Just KORESH over here does paper cuts. He does horror novel reviews. So yes, guys. So we appreciate you so much for watching. And I'm about to put our little video up.
Can I say something real quick? I just want to say I really appreciate everybody watching.
Yes.
This has been like so much fun. We stayed up late last night and we watched them, and we've been watching them all day today. And everybody has been like so supportive and amazing to each other. Like we're in Texas and we met John through this. Like we didn't know John before this, and he's like a really cool dude with a really cool channel. And we've just got to meet so many cool people. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's already been a success just from the people that we've met and like the connections we've made, and getting to check everybody out. So I'm just really grateful that we were able to be part of this.
Yes, and it's really good doing it again this year. I did it last year, but it was good coming back again and doing this because I kind of took a break in between then. I had some stuff come up and everything, and I took a break for a couple months. And coming back, I've just been getting hugs and love and everything. So I love our horror family. I love our horror community. So I'm really thankful. We are ChannelSundown, guys. We have our links below. We have Mr. Just KORESH and CUTIE CARNAGE. And y'all don't forget John, the horror hack. All the links are below. And we have the link below to Miss Spooky Astronauts. Awesome girl. I'm sorry, the stream before us was eating pizza, and now I want pizza. So as a horror, it made me crave pizza. So I'm going to watch some more streams and eat some pizza. So then again, guys, until next time, I really greatly appreciate you guys. And stay tuned for Spooky Astronauts.
Good show. Good show.
Yes, yes, yes. So here it goes. Here comes the trailer.
See you later.
Say that, and I'm trying to.
Later, John.
Later, John.
Later. We'll see you. Had fun.
Bye.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Up next is Spooky Astronauts. Click on the link in the description and continue the crawl. And for the full schedule, check out HorrorAddictsTV.com.
Hold on, guys. I'm getting this. Sorry.
It's a little bit behind.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Up next is Spooky Astronauts. Click on the link in the description and continue the crawl. And for the full schedule, check out HorrorAddictsTV.com. You're watching the